right, Sports Talker Nation. Welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 team-by-team fantasy preview. Today we're going to talk about those Carolina Panthers, and everybody knows where we start with the Panthers, and that's Cam Newton. Not a huge fan of Cam Newton. Didn't believe in Cam Newton. Thought he was more runner than he was passer. I was 100% wrong about him. It was never about his smarts. People say he wasn't smart enough. I never questioned his ability to be smart enough. I always thought he would rely on his athletic ability and take off because he could, because he was that much better than everybody. He didn't. He stood in the pocket when he had to. Still a tough runner. From a fantasy perspective, he was the MVP last year. He was the number one quarterback last year. Now, call it my concern over the injury, call it my lack of love for his wide receivers. I wouldn't take him as my number one overall, but he's in my top 5 quarterbacks. He is a clear starter, probably a top 3 quarterback. You could do a lot worse than having Cam Newton in the second or third round of your fantasy draft, because I think he's going to be an absolute beast. At the running back position, Jonathan Stewart is not sexy. He is productive when he plays, but he's never going to play 16 games. I would say he is probably a late 2, early 3 running back. And again, while he plays and when you have him when he's healthy, he should be a guy you should start. But if you have him and you're relying on him, you better get someone who can play as a backup or as a replacement, because he's going to miss a few games every year. He always does. Sometimes more than a few games. Their backup at this point, I guess, would be Cameron Artis-Payne. Didn't really show a ton as a rookie. Had a good college career. I guess he has the chance to step in and do the same things as Stewart if he were to be the man. So if you wanted to handcuff a Stewart, he'd be the right guy to do it with. I probably wouldn't do that. I only believe in handcuffing my top 5 to 8 running backs overall, because if they wind up going down and their team doesn't change their offense, then they're going to make a difference for your team. So probably would stick with just Jonathan Stewart. Receivers, I think, are in better shape than people think. Kelvin Benjamin is coming back from his bad knee. He was excellent as a rookie, had great chemistry with Cam. No reason for me to think that doesn't continue. I have him as a second wide receiver. He's not a number 1 because he's not going to catch enough balls because they're a run-based offense. But he's going to be at 1,100 yards and 10 to 14 touchdowns because he can get up in the end zone, and he does, and he has proven that. Devin Funchess is probably a late 3 receiver to me, mostly because he has upside, and he also is a big receiver who can get up and get the ball. Teddy Ginn should probably be rostered as one of your last receivers, and if he's not, when you need a certain week when you're just looking for a home run hitter, he's an excellent home run hitter. He's hit or miss. He might have 2 catches for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. He could have 1 catch for 61 yards and a touchdown, or he could get you nothing. So when you're shooting for the stars, maybe in daily fantasy, when you need to find a guy other people aren't taking, Ted Ginn has a shot to help you out. Greg Olsen, I can't speak more highly of. I love Greg Olsen. I think he gets overshadowed, but other than Gronk, you can make an argument that he is your second best tight end. He's certainly no worse than your 5th best tight end. Absolutely draft him as early as you would draft any of those tight ends not named Gronk. Defensively, Carolina, absolutely a team you want to target as one of your number 1 defenses. They are fast, they are big, they hit, they get sacks, they turn the ball over, and they limit teams' points. They are a quintessential fantasy defense like the Denver Broncos that I would absolutely target on draft day. And with your 2016 team-by-team fantasy preview of the Carolina Panthers, as always, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.